Hello and welcome to another TABI Live. I'm Janine, I'm the chair of TABI, and this evening I've got the great pleasure of welcoming onto the live Kenn Payne. Kenn Payne is the author and the creator of the Oracle of the Hekatean Path, and the artist and graphic designer is Chris Butler. So looking forward to having a chat with Kenn this evening about his spiritual pathway and also about his creation of the deck and how he came about the concept. So I'm just going to invite Kenn into the live. Hi Empress Justice Tarot, thank you for joining. Okay, just bear with me. Hi Fabienne, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so Kenn, you may need to request to join because it won't allow me to. You just accept that if it has popped up. Ah, that's great, it works.
Hello.
Hello.
There I am.
There you are. How are you this evening?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit got a bit of a sore arm. I had my COVID jab this afternoon, so but apart from that, I'm all fine.
Right, okay. Oh gosh, right, okay. That's not what you want.
No, but I've had my flu now and my COVID now, so hopefully that's me sorted.
It's not good when you get the achy arms afterwards. That's
No,
horrible.
that is the thing. It always feels like somebody's literally thumped me good in the arm.
I'm not very good with injections and jabs, inoculations. I can't stand it. It makes me nervous thinking about it. I try to avoid them at all costs. So, this is our fourth time lucky because we did try 3 times to go live yesterday evening.
Yeah.
And I've done all manner of things such as update the Instagram app. I've sent a report into Instagram, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be fine this hour and it won't cut off again. I have no idea why it did that. So I apologise. Come to help with Instagram. And so you are here today to talk to us about your latest creation, which is really exciting, the Oracle of the Hekatean Path. And also, I think everybody would like to know about your experience on the pagan pathway as well, where you got your inspiration from, and yeah, just tell us all about it, please.
Okay. So putting the sense of deja vu aside for those that were joining us each and every time yesterday, so I've been a practicing pagan since about the age of sort of 15, and the last sort of 15 years of that have been largely focused on my devotion to the goddess Hecate, and the oracle, as it sort of came about, it began as something that I devised for personal use. It was just a simple, rudimentary set of symbols that I could inscribe on, in really basic terms onto slips of paper or to little pebbles or such, to sort of draw them out in at random for sort of guidance and sort of connection with my relationship with the goddess. And over time, that kind of grew a little bit more, and I printed off images of the internet and laminated them on cards. So I had like a very basic card deck of about 25 images. And just over time, I was kind of still always in the back of my brain was always the fact that nothing had really hit the mainstream. Nothing was out there on the mainstream market for Hecate specifically, although she does crop up in decks, usually just as a solitary card. And there, in recent years, there has been a few independently published things and a couple of quick Kickstarter decks where other devotees have kind of focused on getting Hecate out there as a sole focus, but still nothing in sort of in the mainstream, widely available mass market. So I started to extrapolate the idea that I started with to do as an appendix for an as yet unfinished, unpublished book, whereby I was going to sort of give people the basic instructions of these are the list of the symbols, these are the list of the basic meanings, make them in your preferred way to the best of your ability, kind of thing. But during that time, I'd recently bought the Healing Light Tarot by Chris Butler, and I'd been reading with it for a number of months, really, really accurately, like spookily accurately, to the point where people were like really captivated not only by the accuracy of the readings, but also the enigmatic sort of style of his digital artwork with the use of silhouette and layers and textures. And I started to conceive ideas in my head in his artistic style. And my brain was like, yeah, but for some strange reason, I thought he lived in America, for starters. Like,
Okay,
I
so
just
I
had
thought
it
you
in.
knew each other for quite a long time, so that was the point that you met.
Yeah,
Oh,
because like literally, I just had this weird thing in my head that the vast majority of well published big authors and deck creators must all be in America, and therefore won't give anybody in the UK the time of day, kind of thing. But I had just like that little voice in my ear, from the goddess, where she basically just said, ask him. And so I sent him off a little um Facebook message, and I said to him, I've been using your deck, I really like it, da, da, da. Would you like or be interested in a collaboration project? And as it transpired, we kind of got a friend in common, and then I found out he lives in not only just in England, but not a million miles away from where I was born. And weird synchronicities, like his parents knew my old science teacher and his wife, and they were like lifelong friends, and just loads of little weird synchronicities like that. But unbeknownst to me, Chris had already had a couple of failed collaboration attempts with some of the people for projects that never got off the ground. So he was quite reserved about taking on another one. So he kind of threw a lot of questions at me and a lot of basically, as he puts it, he did his best to put me off. Um, and unfortunately for him, I had all the answers and I had all the work because I'd already been trying to write it all out as an appendix for a book. So I just was like, yeah, you can have all of my ideas. Here they are. And he quite quickly realized that obviously this was a fully formed concept, and he drafted one image in his style, and although it wasn't 100% perfect, it was more or less hitting the nail on the head. And from there, we did. I went up to stay with him on two occasions for like 4 or 5 days, and we literally just did these really intensive bursts of working on the card images based on obviously my conceptualization, my experience of the goddess through obviously historic sources and my personal devotions as well. And within about sort of 6 months, we kind of got the first draft of it done, because we literally had so much of the framework was already in place. It was just about breathing life into the images. And weirdly, we got on really, really well. We had the really good synergy between us. We didn't argue or fall out. That we got a bit exacerbated with one or two of the cards that just weren't working the way we wanted them to. But in the end, we were like really, really happy with the end result. And we I kind of thought to myself, well, there's still nothing in the mainstream, so there shouldn't be an issue with getting this published. And I was hopeful with Chris already being published, that he would, it would be a little bit of a shoe-in for me to sort of get this deck off the ground. And then, of course, the world went mad and the pandemic hit, and everything just kind of fell into a holding zone where nothing really happened and time didn't really function in the same way. And so it actually transpired that there was like this 4-year gap where nothing happened, and we tried to pursue a few avenues for publishing. We kept sort of coming up against little stumbling blocks and obstacles and things that just didn't sit right, especially for me, because what was the most important for me was the integrity of the project. I didn't want it to be lightened up, and I didn't want it to be diluted down. I was like, no, this is how it is, and this is how it needs to get out there. And then once the world had kind of calmed down a smidge, we put it back out there, and Lo Scarabeo, who Chris has been published with before, they had it immediately. They were like, "Yep, we'll have that." And because it was already done, apart from a couple of minor tweaks, and unfortunately the complete massacre of the text that I'd originally put together because of obviously the condensed booklet.
So did they do the editing for that then to condense it down?
Not really. It was just that because they have multilingual booklets, they just have a standard like word character count. And so I'd written like a lot more information because obviously I wanted it to be a learning tool as well as a divination and devotional one. But obviously their basic stipulations were, just short and succinct because we do it in so many languages. So as a bye to that, I am now actually almost finished with what will be a fully expanded companion book to go with it, which will delve a lot more into the history, the more details about each of the cards and the inspirations of it, more spreads, more ways of using the deck. It will be the book that I would wish had gone with it to start with.
How come the book didn't go with the cards?
I think it was just standard publisher spec.
Okay.
It's they do it for pretty much every deck they put out. It's like a set structure and a set sort of guideline. And I suppose for my experience, I kind of just went, okay, yeah, and chopped it all down.
But it's great actually that you've been able to spend a lot of time, in the planning stage, and you've not had to rush that aspect of it. So in a way,
No, yeah, and I mean,
positive thing, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, it was because when we submitted it, because we'd kind of got it all done. When we submitted it into the publisher, we were expecting it to come out autumn this year.
Right.
But because we'd submitted it quite quickly, what we didn't realise was obviously they must have managed to find a window a bit sooner. And obviously it came out at the end of February this year. But the first that Chris and I knew of it was I got tagged on Facebook by a friend in America who had just basically pre-ordered it on Amazon, and she tagged me to say, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to this."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Are you sure that's real?" And not like it just didn't feel real.
Wow.
And then we found out that they were bringing it forward. So yeah, it's been out in the world for, is it 7 or 8 months now?
And it's on Amazon as well.
It is available. Yeah. Well, to be honest, available from wherever you prefer to buy your books from. It's got an ISBN number. It's got global distribution, so anywhere should be able to get it, really.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, congratulations. So you must be really enormously proud of that project.
I am, and in the same way, I'm bewilderingly not quite figured it out in my head yet. Because for me, it's always been about the offering of this to the community and to the goddess, and not anything to do with me. And so like at the UK Tarot Conference last weekend, and obviously, and again at TABI in the summer, when people start coming up to me and telling, saying how much they're resonating with the deck, or I'm watching YouTube videos of people talking about the deck, and I'm sat there and it's all just going straight over my head, and I'm just nodding and smiling, but it's not really sinking in. Um, but it has been amazing, and obviously I'm really proud of what we managed to achieve in such a sort of short and painless time, really, as far as the creation or the birthing process of it was concerned. um and then obviously, as you'll know from when I was at TABI, the the presentation that I gave has now spearheaded the formative stages of a complementary tarot project.
Ah,
And so we will have tarot of the Hekatean Path, which will go alongside.
yes. So, for those that don't know, Ken was really kind to come and present with us at the Tarot Association for British and International Members conference, our conference in Manchester at the end of July. And he gave a fantastic presentation on the goddess Hecate. And also we got to see his cards as well, and talked us through the concepts, and it was fantastic. So yeah, I'm so glad that that has helped to go forward into another aspect of it as well. And
Yeah.
so tell the people watching what they can expect for the tarot deck.
So I'd already had, like, again, I'd had formative ideas of it when we were nearing the completion of the Oracle deck, but I was kind of like, yeah, hold your horses. We haven't even finished this one yet. I'll just let save the inspiration for another day. Um, but in between times, I'd kind of kept scribbling things and doing sort of little ideas here and there. And then obviously, you'd approached me about doing the emergency sort of stand-in to present at TABI, and I kind of put I mean put something together quite quickly, but it was based on an idea I'd already sort of conceptualized, which was Hecate within the major arcana of the tarot. And it was after I gave the presentation, Chris came up to me afterwards and he was like, "You do realize you've just written the major arcana for the tarot deck?" And I was like, oh yeah, like literally not quite making it make sense. But actually, in the last sort of couple of weeks, I've been really hyper focused on it, of getting the basic structure down and how I want to sort of tackle it, whilst making it. The idea is it will be Rider Waite Smith, like familiar to Rider Waite Smith
Okay.
readers, but it will be through a Hecatean lens, so it will still take its focus from the goddess, and it will be a complementary deck to the oracle, but it will also facilitate as a standalone deck. So that if people are familiar with like either tarot or the goddess, they'll get something out of it, and if they're familiar with both, then more the better. But the basic concept will be that the major arcana will focus on the fool's journey, which obviously, as I mentioned in my presentation, was that the fool becomes the devotee. It becomes the devotee at the crossroads of life, and all of the fool's journey encounters are with different aspects of Hecate that they might come across or interact with. Obviously, there won't be I'm hoping there won't be a huge amount of overlap with the Oracle, because I don't want it to just be the same titles and things coming out, but just in a different card. But as I'm aware that there is a vast, there's a vast scope of resource on the goddess to sort of delve into, so I don't think I'll have any problems with that. And then I actually kind of mind mapped it out, how the structure of the deck works. So obviously you've got the Fool at the Crossroads, and then the major arcanas, all of all the different aspects of Hecate around, and then four paths that go off in the cardinal directions, and each one of those represents obviously a different elemental direction and a different elemental association. The path itself is the aces through to tens, and that's like the sort of like a narrative journey for each of the suits. And then in place of the courts, we've got the elemental temples, and the in place of the typical page, knight, queen, and king. I will be looking at doing neophyte, herald, priest, and priestess. So I will be reversing the king, and king roles to put the priestess at the top. And that will motion you through from the outside of the temple through into the inner sanctum of the temple where the priestess is, and you meet again with the goddess.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
So this is good for people that are using cards for ritual work as well, people that are following pagan pathways, Wiccan pathways.
Yeah.
And
it will have any, you know, any of those kind of paths, or people that just have a fascination with mythology. You know, it will. I think there'll be a resonance for a lot of different people. Which, you know, again, that's the good thing that I've always wanted, is to make it an accessible deck.
Oh, fantastic. And you're getting a lot of excitement in the chat as well. So Gwen's online and she's saying, oh wow, she loves that, and she actually watched your presentation from online.
Oh right.
As well. Yes.
Lovely.
And lots of people saying that they love that presentation. And Luby is one of our students on our intermediate tarot course at the moment with TABI, and she says that she loves the sound of it. It sounds fascinating. So
brilliant.
Yes, I'm very excited for you to be doing that as well. And is this going to be a project that you envisage coming out next year, or do you think it may be a bit longer than that? Because obviously you've got more cards than the Oracle.
I mean, because as I mentioned before, I was like, the last couple of weeks I've been quite hyper focused. So not only have I done the structure of the deck more or less, I've also rudimentally drafted concepts for all of the cards already. I just need Chris to be available to do the images themselves, and then I just need to sort of put the book together in a better sort of way, other than the disjointed notes that it is at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I would say it'd probably take longer, but I don't necessarily know how much longer. And then obviously it's dependent on, hopefully the publisher won't have an issue with taking it, because from what we can gather, that the Oracle deck is doing very, very well. People are, you know, it's selling well everywhere that we've sort of encountered, and so we're hopeful that they will be positive about a complementary tarot, and that it will be different enough but not too different that it will, you know, that they will see the appeal of it. And so yeah, so it's kind of I've just noticed a comment down there. Intrigued to see the Emperor in that deck, given our brief chat last Sat. Yeah, well, literally, as Alice said, I said to Alice, I was stalked by the Emperor throughout the whole of the tarot conference, and strangely enough, it is my soul path birth card, like Yolanda presented. And I was speaking to Alice about it when I went to get one of the prints that she was giving away, and weirdly, I'd picked up a print that I thought it was the Two of Swords, which is my nemesis card. It always crops up at the places where I don't want it to. But what transpired was it was actually an image of the Queen of Swords. But I just liked the fact that she had two swords, but they were there was a bit more of an empowerment behind them. Oh. And I got speaking to Alice about being stalked by the Emperor, and she pointed down to the table, and she says, "Oh, there's the Emperor there." And she had a print of him from her Rebel Heart tarot, and it was like lion's head and things like that. There was just something about it, and I kind of thought, yeah, I need to make peace with this Emperor. And so she suggested I take it as well, and she signed it for me. And I'm just looking to get hold of a frame for it now because I was kind of like, yeah, okay, I need to do this.
Well, you will be interested to hear as well that my cards for yesterday were the High Priestess, the Emperor, and the Nine of Wands. So our problems, which aren't here today, we haven't had any technical hitches, but I think were caused by the Nine of Wands. But you actually came up yesterday in the Emperor, and I was like, oh, I wonder, is that going to be Kenn Payne? So obviously, you. I'm bringing the High Priestess, which is your concept, which is the Hekatean Pathway. So it's really interesting, yeah.
And it, you know, there are those cards like the Emperor in the Tarot, which obviously more often than not are generally seen in a masculine sense. So obviously to look at them from the position of a goddess, will certainly be interesting and something different for a lot of people. I think initially in the talk, I can't quite remember. I think one of the titles that I associated with Hecate in the role of Emperor was the Adamantia, the unconquerable one. So, you know, and she does have a lot of those very regal and important qualities of independence and leadership and power and assertiveness. So I think that will come through quite well. And then, you know, even to as far as the sort of Aryan ram's head sort of symbology that sometimes crops up, you know, you go back to the story of Jason and the Argonauts and the Golden Fleece. Medea was a priestess of Hecate, and you know, and she features quite prominently in that story. So you know, there's a lot of. I always say that Hecate's got her fingers in all the pies, and it's certainly, you know, I've yet to be proven wrong.
Yeah, and interesting that is the full moon in Aries for
yes,
this
yes.
morning. I think it was around 11 o'clock, and it's a very important time at the moment. And yeah, that fits in with the Emperor because the Emperor is the correspondent. So perhaps the live needed to take place today rather than yesterday, which is why we got a Nine of Wands, which was a no.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Try again tomorrow when it's the Aries full moon, because maybe she wanted it to be today. So it's maybe
possible,
yeah. Forceful Aries will.
Which is not me. It's not me. You know, I don't have that. Which is the thing that why I got so hung up on him stalking me through the conference, was it was always coming up telling me this is what, you know, this is what you need to be, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be like that.
What's your sun sign path there, Ken?
So I'm an Aries sun.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, and I'm a Leo moon and a Sagittarius rising, so I'm fire.
Yeah. Let's go. That's brilliant. So, well, your sun sign path is what you're learning to be in this lifetime, isn't it? Really, we're growing into that skin. So that maybe you've got that Aries stalker card. I'm an Aries as well.
Yeah, because actually you'd already pipped me to the Aries thing when Kirsten was doing her little zodiac thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'd already got in there, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's all right. I'll do another one." And she said, "Like, what?" She said, "What's your rising sign?" And I was like, "Sagittarius." And she says, "Oh, you can do that one." Okay. And the weird thing was the card that I pulled for Sagittarius was the Emperor again.
How interesting!
For God's sake!
Oh wow! Oh, so we were talking about this card. I think it was on Sunday. And a lot of people were saying how he's sat very sedentary in the throne in the Emperor card. And I said, but actually, you know, he will be the one that gets out of the throne and very dynamic, leading the troops, you know, at the front, on the horse, you know, and pushing things forward. So you wouldn't expect him to be sat in the chair, you know, just that. Yeah, it's not the Aries dynamic, really, is it?
No. With the problem is the Aries dynamic can be. I've got the stubborn bit down. I can do that.
Me too. But we're persistent, aren't we? Which is why we're back this evening.
That's true,
We're
yeah.
back once again. Yeah, we don't give up. And I'm so glad that you came back as well. And I wanted to ask, how many cards in the Oracle deck? Because I don't own it yet.
So so I've got one here, the Oracle of the Hekatean Path. So it is sorry?
Can you show us some cards as well?
Oh yeah, I've got them here as well. So there's 60 cards in this Oracle.
Okay.
So you've got like a good standard Oracle sort of size. I've edged mine in black because they're just edged in white normal, and it was a bit stark for my liking. And so I'll just show some of the card images.
Beautiful. And for people just joining us, Kenn, who is Kenn Payne, is the author and the creator, and Chris Butler is the artist and the graphic designer. Oh, beautiful.
And the good thing about the deck is it doesn't shy away from things that are a bit darker. It has a balance between light and dark. What we found, both Chris and myself, through our use of the deck, but also from what we've heard from other people, is that it's quite a raw deck. It doesn't pull its punches. It communicates quite well. As Hermes is in the deck as well. So there are some of the gods and spirits that are in the deck as well as Hecate sort of throughout. And one of the amazing things has been like at the weekend at the tarot conference, Michelle Morphetis, after she gave that amazing presentation. And she came up to me and she said she'd been using the deck and she was, blown away by it and things like that. And I was like, whoa, that's a Bond Street psychotherapist telling me that my deck is good. So yeah, it's been really rewarding for people to sort of really resonate with this. And so we've got lots of different aspects, and here's one of my favorites. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but this is one of my favorites. It's the Borbora Forba card. It means eater of filth, but it's the card of cleansing, and so it's quite a cathartic and purgative sort of cleansing fire that the goddess employs, even though it's not necessarily the nicest of things to sort of contemplate. And then we've got a full moon, as it has been. So it's nice. This was one of the first cards that Chris actually drafted, and all we changed was I wanted the moon to be brighter, and we changed the torches. That was the only changes that we actually did. It's one for the dog lovers there. The Black Hound, loyal companion of the goddess. What else?
You have a symbol on the back of the cards as well.
Yeah. So this symbol on the back is the main sort of. It's made out of a snake, but the basic symbol is known as the wheel of Hecate. Some people sort of call it the Strophalos of Hecate, but that is a slightly different tool. It's a modern interpreted symbol, even though it's a symbol that has ancient origins. Basically, it originates as a little tiny stamped gold button adornment that was found in Mycenae around like Knossos and things like that. But in the modern day, I don't think anybody's quite sure when or where it got first attributed to Hecate, but it's kind of in the more modern sort of last 20 years or so, it's become synonymous with her. And but the actual card back design is actually a tattoo that I've got on my chest. And it's one of my devotional tattoos, and when we had finished the deck, we hadn't got a back image. And Chris wanted a back image because we were going to get a couple of test decks from Make Playing Cards just to sort of see what they were like. And so Chris actually traced from a photograph of the tattoo digitally, so you got all of the details in, and put it on the back. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then obviously once we got to the sort of publishing stage, I was like, it's not going to work because it's too personal. It's, people are not going to resonate with it. I don't think it's going to sort of be the right kind of image. And weirdly, the publisher went straight with it. I mean, they put it on the box, for God's sakes. you know? So, and I've kind of been quite surprised by how well that it's been taken, even though it's something that's kind of really is a personal part of my devotion. But Chris said something to me actually about the fact that it's a skin deep thing, so there is a depth of that commitment and devotion that sort of ties my heart and my spirit to the deck as a devotional offering to the goddess and to the wider community. So we do have the symbol itself as a card, the Hecate wheel, which is I always like this because I like the rainbow sort of colours and the sense of sort of motion that it elicits. So yeah, it's
It's
lots of
they're beautiful cards. And can we use the deck for shadow work as well?
Most definitely. In fact, that's one thing that a lot of people have come up to me and said is this is brilliant for shadow work, and I wholeheartedly agree. There's a mixture of the cards and their meanings that deal with transformative elements, cleansing elements. There's cards that deal with choices and bondage and loss and growth, and it's still, we still have death and destruction and things like that, but there's also protection and as we saw previously, cleansing and purity. So there's a good balance. This is one of my favorites. This is the Aconite card, Wolfsbane, the card of death. But it's just such a beautifully
Scorpio season as well. We're coming the death card element, so a good time for the shadow working. And please, everybody, put this deck on your list for purchase.
And then we've got things like the cave, which is the card of incubation. So this is about taking the time to go within, to go under, to explore that shadow, and to sort of make those necessary underworld journeys that will bring you out the other side. This was one of the ones I pulled out on the social at the weekend, the Philaremos, the lover of solitude. So just sort of taking the time to be by yourself and enjoy the quiet. I often think with this one, it's one of those it's a card you can almost hear, even though it's not making much noise, if that makes sense. There's a very strong presence of silence and just contemplation that I really like. You can just kind of almost hear the distant sound of the waves of a midnight sea, and it's just it's very peaceful. So even for people that want to use cards for journeying, astral gateways and things like that, they're perfect. Really, really good for sort of exploring the beyond the card edges.
Fantastic meditation work as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And you mentioned ritual as well.
Yeah, that's something that I'm kind of elaborate a little bit on in the expanded guidebook, is utilizing the cards symbolically to create small ritual or a small setup, especially for people that are starting out. When people start out on pagan paths or witchcraft paths, and it's all a case of, and I can't do anything until I've got all of these tools and all of these herbs and all of these things, where in actuality it's more to do with the intent. And so by utilizing some of the symbolic images of the cards, you can still carry out intended I forgot what the word's called now, ritual, that's it, a ritual with intent, but by just utilizing the cards and actually being present within the symbology of each of the cards that you use. Um, so again, it makes it accessible for people who necessarily either don't have the space or don't have the money or don't have the freedom to practice openly like a lot of us do. The fact that it's a deck that can be easily gathered up or hidden away if necessary, to be utilized, to be taken on travels and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, there's lots of scope for using it.
And Marion's online, so she said
Hi,
the
Marion.
deck was incredible to work with. Marion was up on the stage as well at the UK Tarot Conference, presenting on the Saturn
Yeah.
years. An incredible presentation as well. It was a really good weekend, wasn't it?
I mean, they were all great presentations, but they were like it was quite intense. There was quite a lot of really intense work to deal with.
I'm not quite recovered.
No.
And yeah, the energy didn't feel as light as it sometimes does. When we all get together, we're all friends. We meet up for tarot conferences and everything, but it felt really heavy this time. I don't know if it was because, like, collectively we're all going through a lot of things at the same time, and perhaps that is why. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. It was intense.
But yeah, I mean, it was intense. I thought it, in a positive way, because it was still about
Yeah.
trying to learn things constructively and apply teachings or learnings from this concept of the world. And I think that was part, like you say, because it was the world card, and obviously it was big issues within the presentations, but obviously, the bigger picture of the world as it stands at the minute is heavy. It is
Yes.
oppressive and scary and anxiety driven. So yeah, I think it was only natural that we started to sort of pick up on that. We just have to look forward to next year being the Fool.
Oh.
Hopefully it'll all be a bit lighter by then.
Well, what I didn't consider, and I should have done beforehand, was the world is closing off. And as Marion said, it's got that connotation correspondence with Saturn as well. So it's not going to be a love and light feel to it. It's going to be intense for lots of different reasons. And yeah, I pulled together all of your learning experiences from the Fool's Journey and bashes you around the head with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, and so Luby's gone to gift herself with your deck.
The best kind of gift.
Amazing. And just let people know again where they can get your deck, please.
So yeah, so it's Oracle of the Hekatean Path by Kenn Payne and Chris Butler. It's published by Lo Scarabeo, so you can hopefully find it anywhere that will order books or decks in. Obviously, you can get it on Amazon. You could get it through your local or preferred metaphysical shop or bookstore. It has an ISBN number, so you should be able to give that to whoever, and they should be able to order it in through your preferred outlet. But obviously, if you can't wait, Amazon, it'll be there the next day.
Fantastic. And could I ask you to pull a card for us for the
Absolutely.
area?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll try not to throw them all over the floor like I normally do when I'm trying to shuffle these things.
I'm so happy that we've not crashed out on this, because
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if it was going to happen or not, but I think we've got it solved this time.
so yeah.
Ooh, this one seems eager. Oh, okay. So we've got Artemis, and this is the card of independence. And so, as we know, Artemis was an independent goddess. She didn't want to marry. She wanted to do all the boys' things. She was very much her own goddess. And this card definitely is telling us to embrace that at the minute. It's, embrace our independence, our ability to chart our own paths and to sort of strike out on those paths with determination and not be railroaded or you know, distracted by other people or other people's kind of naysaying or concerns. You know, I like she is, she's gripping the bow of the moon, you know, so she's going to fire herself forward into those opportunities. So, you know, relish the independence and just fly with it.
Oh, thank you. And that sounds very apt for an Aries full moon energy
Mm.
day. Yeah, Aries is very much about that.
Yes.
And you've also done quite a few different contributions to publications, haven't you? So I've got a devotional anthology for Hecate, and an introduction to paganism as well.
Yeah, they're just like little sort of bits that were added into bigger sort of anthologies and such. Um,
Great.
Obviously this is my first fully published thing, and then obviously the expanded guidebook, which I promise people, because they do keep telling me about it. It is coming. I've just got to finish it off. And then obviously the tarot, hopefully, fingers crossed. And who knows what else might happen.
Oh, brilliant. Is Lo Scarabeo going to publish the book as well?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually
Oh,
spoken to
okay.
them yet. I'm probably going to sort of just make them aware, because I don't think they do an awful lot of standalone books themselves.
Oh,
They do the odd one, but I don't think they do it as a sort of thing. But I will put it to them first, and if not, I will just self-publish it to get it out there and people can get it quickly.
but they can make it into a box set as well, so you could have like a magnetic clip box with the
That's
card,
true.
and
Yeah,
then you have the book at the top. So I bet they would be open to doing it
it's
as like a package deal,
possible.
a
Yeah.
box set.
We'll just see what they say.
Wow.
So,
Oh, very
but yeah,
cool. Watch this space.
indeed you.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining
No?
today. I'm really happy to speak to you, and thank you for telling us and sharing the concept as well, and showing everybody the cards.
Oh, that's my pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you everybody for joining us. We'll put the video up afterwards. We'll load it up onto Instagram, and Mary will put it on Facebook as well, and it'll go onto YouTube. Thank you, Gwen, Luby, Marion, and everybody else for joining. Thank you, Fabienne, and enjoy the rest of your evening. However, you are going to be getting prepared for the after effects of the Aries full moon.
Mm.
Take care, Ken, and hopefully speak to you very soon.
See ya.
Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.